Actually, speaking of older, how old is he? Because in the first film, Chandru says father is
He's
75.
only as old as Superman.
Yes. But I'm seeing him as a martial arts master.
The finger
The
thing
finger
that he
thing,
does.
yeah.
Yes.
I never got to walk that street where I lived in for whole lifetime. I bought BDs, I bought bananas, I was walking down the street. Nobody recognized me. I had a muffler on my head and a khaki dress.
That was the
for
test.
Senapathy.
My
I remember
God.
that. The level and the degree of applause tells us it itself is a criticism.
Whatever I compress, no, it won't come under 3 hours or maximum 3:15. It won't come. Chopping and I don't want to kill the soul of each and every scene. We all decided to make it in 2 parts.
People have died after watching a television show. Children have jumped off the thing.
Kamal sir, Shankar sir, it's so lovely to have you both on Film Companion. I want to start by telling you that I was doing a little bit of math. Okay, so your first film, Gentleman, 1993, 31 years ago. You, of course, started as a child artist, 1960, 64 years ago. So the two of you together have 95 years of filmmaking experience, which is just staggering. And I was thinking, when artists of your caliber and your experience and your wisdom come together, how do you find a shared vision? You know, especially for a film like this, for Hindustani 2, the first one was a blockbuster. You got a national award for it. The two of you, what conversations did you have to decide the storytelling and the palette of Hindustani 2?
When he came to me, I was preparing a similar story. So
Independently.
Independent. We had not even met, actually. So when he told me the story, I was a bit disturbed, as usually two filmmakers come up with an idea. It's happened with Mr. Mani and me. Only one of us can get to do it. So I had thought of Shivaji Sam in my following, but the father-son kind of situation. So he directed the story. It was quite close, but not exact. So naturally, selfish thing is I wanted to produce and take in my company. The first thanks for my national award for Indian goes to Shivaji Sam, because I told him, let's do the film. Gentleman's director wants to do a film with me, but this is the story. He said, we've done it before, me playing the father. That sounds interesting and will be useful for you. So go do that film. That's how it started. So it started with my old man blessing me. So I came, but till then I hadn't told them the reason. So all sorts of things, negotiation were happening. I made it look like negotiation. And finally the producer, and he was waiting. I thought by now he'd have left. Because this whole shenanigan took about 6 months.
Wow.
And my dates were available only after some time. He did not budge. I like that about the director who had this or some other film. So later, when everything fell into place, I modeled myself after my father. They had also looked at various things. I remember on the first day of the set, it's a strange coincidence, people from my village came to see me. My father was no. And they saw, and the old men, my father said, started crying and touching my feet. It was moving personal experience for me. That was day one of the shooting.
Wow.
I wanted to buy the film. I paid more than my remuneration to buy the film for one area. So that's my journey with
And that's your connection with it.
and we knew it's going to be good, but we didn't expect it to be that.
So big. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
big.
But you said that you wanted to do the sequel right after the first one released, but you didn't have a story.
Yes.
And then at the trailer launch, Atlee said in 2005, when he was your assistant, you were talking about a sequel.
Yeah.
How did this story come?
Yeah, that's what I explained. The same event after a few years of the release of part one. So when I saw the newspaper, like all the newspaper is having the news of bribe is happening here, in all the states. Like
Nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, if Hindustani comes now, what will happen like that? So as I told that time, the feel was there, the idea was there, but it didn't form like a story. So I'm not forcing myself to do something, whatever comes in my mind. So I was waiting. So after every film, when I see the newspapers, the same bribe things everywhere. So again, I started thinking of making a sequel for that Hindustani. I'm not able to crack. So it took a long time, and mainly it took a long time to decide what not to do, because everything is open secret after seeing the first part. So finally, after the 2.0 time, I cracked it. I felt now it has come to a good shape. Then I decided to do that. And before I went to him, I make sure, because I'm going to tell a story it's like to an university. So I was well prepared, and I made everything is all right. And once I'm sure that I did my job to a certain level so that it can be accepted by him. So then I narrated him, the part 2. So he liked it. So we started making the film.
I saw the first film again, and I was struck by how powerful it still is. And that character of Senapathy is still so strong and appealing. There's that scene when he kills the doctor who refused to treat his daughter. And the camera is just circling there in that television studio. And then at one point, you look straight at camera, you break the fourth wall, and you say, "Rishwat dena bhi jurm hai, or the rishwat lena bhi jurm hai." It's like goosebumps, right? How much did you go back to that film to kind of figure out that that's the level of punching we need to do,
See, both the director and Senapathy have not changed. Actor also. So the character will not change.
Yeah.
He is a vigilante. And if he's not a vigilante, it's going to look like he has renounced everything.
Yeah.
And it's another film altogether. So it won't be part 2. It's another film altogether. This is that vigilante theme, that pedestrian dream. Everyone wants to do this, but they cannot get to do that in real life. And it's the same pleasure that they see a man fly and ask this question: is it a bird, a plane, or a man? The same awe is there for Hindustani. So that cannot change. That I liked about it. If you had told me the story of a man who goes to Kashi and renounces his violence, then the charm is gone. I wanted him to be. That's why I liked what he had done for the first ad. I think it's older, wiser, and deadlier. And equally, corruption had also aged along with us.
Yeah.
Older, meaner, and more crooked.
Yeah. Just speaking of older, how old is he? Because in the first film, Chandru says father is 75.
He's only as old as Superman.
Yes. Yeah. I'm seeing him as a superhero, and I will explain, because this is a big question everyone is asking, and see, when I did the part 1, I don't know I will be doing a part 2.
Of course.
For that story, I have to be very sincere, and I'm showing a pre-independence era, and so I have to mention his birth year. So when the cops investigate, no, they will find out he's 1918 or something like that. I forgot it. So now everybody is having all the details, and if he is 1918 means what will be his age?
Yes.
I don't know by what year I'll be doing, whether I'll be doing a sequel or not, I would don't know. And by which year I'll do, no idea. And even we started by 2019 and finally we ended up in 2024. So that is one side. But I'm seeing him as a martial arts master. Because in China, there are a lot of martial arts masters are there. And one martial art master named Lucy Jiang, who is 118 years old. In that age also, he was fighting and flying, kicking and all. Because of the discipline and the way they practice the martial arts. Here, Senapathy also a martial arts master, Varma. Varma is his martial art.
The finger thing that he does.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, Varma points means the vein points.
Yeah.
So, there are 118 or 8 vein points in the human body. So, in certain vein, the way he attacks, there will be a different reaction for that based on the impact and the position and the point. So, we tried some new things because we didn't did on our own. It is there written by the Agastya Munivar. And 2000 years back, he has written all those kind of varmas. So some new varmas and all, new varmas which was not explored in the part 1, we did in this.
So the reasoning is that the rules that apply to the rest of us don't apply to Senapathy because he's a martial arts expert.
Yeah.
Right.
So because martial arts, they'll be doing yoga, they'll be doing meditation, and they will have only one time food the whole day, and boiled vegetables and the spinaches, and like that. The most disciplined people are the martial arts master. So the age doesn't matter for them. Even if they're 120, 130 also, they'll be very active.
A great example is Ramanujacharya of the Vaishnava tradition. He was active till 120. But I didn't get into it because I think we should take it as a compliment from the audience because they've taken him so seriously. They have a kundali for him.
I'm seeing him as a superhero. Sorry to interrupt.
For them, he really exists.
Yeah.
It is like I was very thrilled and flattered. Hemaji was doing Hey Ram, and she read the script, and then one day I was shooting in my own ancestral house, and she saw the detail, and then she said, now he cannot be that old. Where does he live? I want to meet this Saket Ram. I said, I can arrange for that, but only you can meet part of. She said, what do you mean? Is he all right? I said, he's fine, but you can only meet part of him. But she didn't get the joke. She said, I'd like to meet him. Meet that part, me. So a part of Saket Ram is me, the rest is imaginary.
Of course.
So that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
When we made the film, it was a fiction.
Yeah.
Now it's become a fact because everyone wants to be Indian.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing about.
But you said that when he wore that Senapathy outfit again, you got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What was it like for you to get into that iconic costume again?
The first schedule was inside a museum, and you were shooting that sequence. I think part of it is in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I started off in front of Netaji's poster. That was a slight emotional. I was fully getting ready for the part, but this man looking down at me made something butterflies in the stomach. But what really, today I was speaking in another occasion, and I said, there is the twilight zone that the actor, the character gets confused for a moment. In the West, people go for therapy. That happened to me when we were doing a scene with Nedumani Venu without him, because he died midway. So we had to finish. So he had used another person to stand, and I had to talk to him. So they were shooting me prominent. And I have to thank him and hug him. And I didn't know who I was crying for.
Then,
That was the most touching moment, even now. Because I'm very fond of him. He's a great actor. But all good thing comes to an end. And no more Venu. And he had a shot of me hugging him. And the tears that you see in the film is both me and Senapathy.
Yeah.
you know, Mani sir said about you that there are some things that Kamal can do that other actors can do, but there are many things that Kamal can do that no other actors can do. I'm sure you agree with that statement. Give me some examples of what is it that he can do. You called him a university. What is it that he can do that nobody else can do?
Yeah, this also I told in the meeting, like one scene where he has to hang in the rope for 4 days, not for one shot, all the shot, he has to hang on the rope.
The wired.
Right, harness.
Yeah, harness.
Yeah.
So, and with prosthetic.
It's an anti-gravity scene.
With prosthetic makeup, and he has dialogues. He has to speak in Punjabi, and it's a slow motion shot. Like we have to shoot in 48 frames. For that, the lips should sing. So first we have to record it in a normal speed, the Nagara. He has to perform. He has to act like as if the shot is going with a Nagara recorder.
Which will run at 12 frames.
Yeah, he recorded in 24 frames and it will be played in 12 frames. So it will be running fast, like that. So he has to sync that voice which is playing in the Nagara, means the speaker. He has to sing. With that sing, he has to perform, he has to speak Punjabi, and he has to emote, he has to hang on the rope and some activity with his hand and all. No, like, I think anybody, nobody can do that, I think. Like, so that is one example I can tell. There's a lot of examples.
No, what is difficult is I have to bring it down to 24 frames. A machine can do it easily. So I'll have to bring it down to 24 frames. A 12 frame speed is a very cartoon-like speed.
Right.
But this will have to look convincing, as if I'm floating in air. It is not also the natural speed of life and gravity moment. It's anti-gravity moment. So there's the middle speed that they'll have to hit. It was difficult, but he gave me all the time. But all the time I had to hang. So I was just joking to Mr. Piyush. Somebody was trying to introduce us. I said, now we know. We used to hang around together.
Literally.
Literally hanging.
But he don't have dialogues.
Right.
Only he is having dialogues.
So he's literally hanging around.
But Kamsa, when you are faced with something that's challenging physically in every way, something like this, do you ever have a moment of like, okay, I've done this long enough. Why are you putting me through this? Or are you always up to the challenge?
Yeah, that would have happened if the film is uninteresting, if the director is not demanding enough, then you feel all that. I never felt it in this. That's a credit to him, the story. And automatically, it's like in a movie. People shift in a movie that they are not interested in. Same thing happens to an actor. For a producer, it's different. He's number crunching. So it's another kind of excitement for him. If it comes within this calculation, he's very happy. He's traveling happily along.
Yeah.
But actors, and I always promise myself, no more prosthetics. I don't want to do this. And then something,
Famous last words.
yeah, famous last word. It comes back, and only a good film can make me go through that pain again.
You know, speaking of prosthetics, I read, tell me if this is true, that when you were doing the first film, Michael Westmore, the Oscar-winning makeup artist, who was the makeup artist on that film and is the supervisor on...
No, he did it for free. He never came in contact with the production.
For 2 and 3.
For this, he was always watching all the makeup artists. They used to quietly call him and ask their doubts, and he was giving it away. He is retired.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went back to him when we had a problem because of all these things. Because the human face keeps changing every year. So we started 6 years back. So we weren't sure whether the pieces would fit. All that he sort of broke it down for us. And many makeup artists have worked in very many sequences. All of them he quietly over a phone call coordinated for free.
Wow.
What were you asking?
I read that the test for the first film was that you got into the whole prosthetics and the makeup, and then you walked from your home to your studio and nobody recognized
you.
No,
that is when we did a sequence, that scene you were talking about.
In the TV studio.
A part of that scene was shot in actual television studio exterior.
Right.
And we didn't have too many shots. I come out of a manhole and break into that studio and take over the studio. So after that, I asked him, that's it? They said, yeah, that's all. We have an outdoor sequence. So I didn't take the car back. It was about 2 kilometers from my place where I was, 2 or 3 kilometers. And I never got to walk that street where I lived in for whole lifetime. So I bought beedies, I bought bananas. I was walking down the street, which I've never done before. Nobody recognized me. I had a muffler on my head and a khaki dress. And that was the litmus.
That was the test.
Senapathy.
My
I remember that. I called up Michael Westmore and he said, I have done the premiere. What? You just started shooting. No, the premiere is done for me. It works.
That's amazing. Okay, and I also read that the film actually was not planned as a 2 and a 3, but when you finished shooting, it was about 5 to 6 hours, and then you decided that it would be split up into 2 parts with 3 coming in 2025?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
But how does that impact on the edit? Did you not have to kind of maneuver that as well?
Yeah. See, I'll explain you. Like when I did the part 1, it's only happening in one state.
Yeah.
That story itself, it was 3 hours, 20 minutes, the part 1. And this story is spreading all over the country. So naturally, the story become big. So I thought I can compress it in one part. And I have no idea about doing a sequel and all when we started. But once we shot and go in detail, every scene took a very good shape. Once I started editing, I was keep on compressing after a certain level. Each and every scene cannot be trimmed because it reached this, from my point of view, saturation level, whatever. Like you can't cut even one frame more than that. So it was so lively. There is a good feel and soul in each and every scene. So in that way, whatever I compress, no, it won't come under 3 hours or maximum 3:15. It won't come. At the same time, I'm able to see there is a possibility of 2 parts without any compromise. There is a wholesomeness in both the part. So for the sake of compressing, no chopping, and I don't want to kill the soul of each and every scene. And there is a possibility of making it in 2 parts. So it naturally evolved. Then we all decided to make it in 2 parts. So both the parts have the wholesomeness, and I hope it will fulfill the audience.
It's not an exact parallel, but when Coppola made Godfather, he was so pressurized by the studio, his casting decisions, everything didn't happen the way he wanted. He had to fight for every inch of the journey.
Yeah.
And there are moments in the book where I read that he completes the schedule and cries. And somebody had to console him that he couldn't shoot it the way he wanted. Then he makes Godfather 2, which is actually Godfather 1. And it's not with the same actors. So it's a belief.
Yeah.
Now, I was not for it, in spite of being the director who wrote Vishwaroop. I looked at the length of the script. Even before shooting, I decided I'll not make either 2 films or not make it at all. Because it was 350 pages or something. It cannot come into one sitting unless I make it for OTT. There was a moment when because of that reason, I thought of going OTT.
Right.
Which got me into a lot of trouble.
Correct.
So I never went that direction, and my advice first when he said is, don't go there.
So just do it as one film.
But then it's his conviction, and he believed his story won't be complete unless it's narrated.
But there is an argument to be made that this franchise, which of course, and the first had such massive impact, is also propagating a sort of a dangerous kind of vigilante justice, right? Because you're justifying murder as a response to corruption. What is your response to that?
No, my response is different. His response is different. The moment he uses the word that he's like a Superman, it's you cannot tell children that if you say a particular word and if you come from kryptonite, you can jump off a building. It's very dangerous. In here, people have died after watching a television show. Children have jumped off a thing. That is something, but this is the pedestrian dream. That way, Bruce Lee is dangerous for college kids or any, because if you copy his moves in real life, you'll end up with manslaughter. At least attempted manslaughter.
Right.
So those dangers are there, but I believe in democracy. But there are many, many people in the country who say that there must be somebody who must
fix
these things. That's the spirit of the film. And that's how we'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
The films are responsible, but you can't take it too seriously and start parenting the film. That's what our censor board of, not the certification board, I'm talking about the censor board, used to play parent to the audience. But they have no right to play that. So I'm very sure that if you have the mark of skull and bones on it, people won't drink it. Yeah.
So you justified that he's Superman and therefore it's fine, right?
No, yeah. but it's a prevalent thought pattern. So when you execute it, he becomes a momentary hero. The suspended disbeliefs, epitome or characters like these.
Yeah, and it's very satisfying.
They come out of the theatre, they know it is not possible in life.
Of course.
But that moment, they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Most of the heroes in fantasies are that. And this is close to life fantasy. Yeah. They can live that moment happily. That's for the same reason you watch a boxing match. You can't indulge in it on the street. But you keep shouting along with the fighters to left and right and go for the gut and stuff like that.
Yeah. Shankar, I was reading about how the legendary K. Balachandran wrote you a letter after Enthiran.
Yeah.
And he said that watching the film made him like a little boy because he was clapping in glee. And he said, the translation is that cinema is not a mere business for you. It's like a beast inside which chases your obsession for creativity and pushes your imagination and drives your horizons to greater and wider geographies. Which is, I mean, what an incredible compliment. And
Yeah.
I think that's true for both of you. Cinema is a beast inside.
I at least will remember the man fondly. We have done 36 films together.
Yes, yes.
And this letter, he comes from the heart. I know it. Because I've received 3 letters. He need not write to me. I know when he smiles, what he means. Or when he nods, what he means. But he will take the time to write. And I'm sure you would have even met him and said the same content of the letter. He is a very passionate filmmaker. And he owns up other people's work.
Which is so generous.
Very, very, not only generous, but very genuine.
Yeah. Yeah. But my question is this, that this beast inside the both of you, this beast of cinema, how do you keep it hungry? How do you keep challenging yourself after all these years? Like I said, 95 years between the two of you. So what do you do to kind of nurture the beast? What do you do, sir?
Yeah. தேடல்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. What is that? Is search or what is
Search.
Search.
Search. See, once we finish this, and your mind will look, search for something more. So naturally, I have to search something better than what I did before. So after this film also, I'll be searching. I think simply that's the way I can tell.
For me, it was like slightly different. Maybe the years, and you become either tired or sick with all these things. There are 2 medicines which takes you forward. One cures you, another eggs you on. One is a tonic, another is a medicine. For me, that tonic is applause. And the medicine is good criticism. And when you get it, when somebody does it with not... See, I'm sure Mr. Balchandra, if both of us had spent another 5 minutes and asked him, what did you find wrong? With the same passion, he would tell us what is wrong with him. But we are so happy with the compliments received, we run away with the compliment.
Yeah.
But if you ask him, he'll tell you which could be more constructive for the future. But that has happened to me in many times, not just by failure. They excuse a film sometimes, they make it a success, but they say, you could do better films. And the surge increases. So they let this one go. You feel inferior in spite of the success. And then you want to do better than that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I treat criticism and even applause. The level and the degree of applause tells us it itself is a criticism.
Right.
Then I'm not up to the last time's performance.
Yeah.
Why isn't it as loud? So I become nervous. That eggs me on.
You still get nervous?
Yes, of course.
Really?
Of course. Without which, the fun is not there. The applause is fun is you do it. I'm sure you ask Mr. Dhoni or any sportsman, that moment before the gunfire, that moment before they flag you off, it's there, whether it's a sports car driving or it's there for all of us. When that dies, that means it's like crossing the street. Yeah. It's not a journey. Yeah. You've done it so many times, you have to look left and right, no car, cross. But a journey is something you don't expect anything. Unexpected things can happen. So every time it's like crossing an expressway with a curve that you don't know what's coming around.
And that's what makes it magical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
For both.
Yeah.
For both the audience and the filmmaker, the actor, the performer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why do you think what is interesting? I always watch something. My best reaction comes from that gentleman who's holding the light and the cutter. And I see a man chuckle or have tears in his eyes. I know I've done right. For him, it's an everyday chore.
So to get a response means you hit it.
Yeah, he's like an old mother feeding the children for school, They're irritable, they just have to do it. But when they get excited and they're smiling, it gives me, as a matter of fact, one of the film director was not sure about a particular character I had written, Ravi Kumar.
Mm-hmm.
One man who changed all that for both of us, we were arguing about it, was a light boy who couldn't stop chuckling. Every time he saw me in the Balram Naidu, Sirichite irpadu. Sir, he is my audience, please, let's go through. So he changed he stopped the argument.
Right.
And he made the director say start.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. The other thing I wonder about, Shankar sir, is how you get these images in your head. Some of the images he creates, like the things, from your last film, the cell phones in that room, they're just lining the scene. I mean, I walked out of that film thinking, okay, I'm never going to use a cell phone again. And of course, that didn't last. But where do these images come from? Even the songs are massive and just so beautiful to look at.
Thank you.
Where does it come from?
See, it evolves. Actually, my first image for the 2.0 is suddenly something came in my mind, like a pool of or a river of cell phones, glowing cell phones, traveling in a road. That's the first shot or image came in my mind. I don't know why. So that was tickling my mind, always. What is that? What is that? What will be the story behind that? So it fragmented, like slowly, it evolved like the story. I don't know what is happening inside.
They just come. They just pop into your head.
They just come, and one spark, if you like it, if you believe it, it will grow. If you didn't like it, it will die very soon. So something which excites me, automatically it grows, like unknowingly, like.
How wonderful. What a mind. Okay, 2 last questions. I cannot let you go without asking about the next projects. So where are we on Game Changer, sir?
Yeah, almost finished, and I have another 10 to 15 days shoot. So I'm waiting for the release. Once the release, I'll be finishing that. And as soon as I lock the final footage, post-production, and we can see, like, it will release as soon as possible.
Nice. So we might have 2 Shankar movies coming very close to each other.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the third one.
Part
For
3.
me.
Of course. No, that's what I meant. So we would have Hindustani 3 as well as Game Changer.
Yeah.
Nice. And so I know you will not tell me anything about Thug Life. But my question is this, like him, Mani sir and you created a landmark film, right? What is the joy of working with someone like that again? 2 people who created this amazing thing in the same sandbox playing again.
Yeah, sandbox is a good word you came up with. We actually had the sandbox is in Eldams Road in my house. There were this young man, one had already hit stardom. That's me. I was working with a great director called Balachandra. And he is an aspiring man who just wanted to write stories. We used to keep talking stories in Eldams Road. And sometimes many writers will come. So it's a good atmosphere. And we enjoyed that part as much as we enjoyed making. We are a team. It's a pity that we didn't get to work together. But when you see an old friend, the pleasure is there. And the language that you've created, a language of understanding, is so unique that people in the set notice it.
Really?
Which is Did we do that? We disagree and agree with a nod or a smile because we had this conversation. You just nod. It's like this baseball cap. They do something with their hand.
Correct.
And that's a signal for them. So we seem to have developed a language that way. That's fun.
Yeah.
And I think more than money success part of it is that these were two young people who were talking. They were in the 20s when they met, early 20s. And they kept talking. They never thought they will really make it this far. This is what they call it, the hole in the wall gang. They never thought they were going to rob a bank like this. But they actually had guns in their hand. They could go and shoot and ride away with the...
Yeah.
So that's how we feel now. We just wanted to do it. And we used to read Mario Puzo and start casting the film. Even Coppola had not started.
You and Manisha were casting Godfather.
We cast the film. So we were so impressed with the film. And we used to have arguments about the casting.
What fun.
That's where we started from.
Right.
I think your husband will be able to find many incidences where people in the institute, like that day, Nazir Saab was saying about this bad guy who used to keep shooting leaves with hands. He used to go near a leaf and with his hand he'll be framing. I've seen this man from that time. And now he has made this film. He said, that's a pleasure.
Yeah.
So Nazir Saab and Vinod Chopra will understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I'm assuming it's the same between the two of you.
Yes,
you met when you were so young as well. Yeah. How wonderful. How wonderful. Well, I cannot wait to see it July 12th. Thank you so much and all best for Hindustani too.
Thank you.
Thank you.